Okay, folks, we'll get started again. We move to item 40. We're good? Okay. Oh, sorry. I didn't hear. 519 St. John's Road. I am going to read this in, but we do have a deferral request. So we have in front of us a copy of plans of survey, site plan, floor plans, elevations, supporting material related to locations for off-street or on-street parking. We have a staff report from engineering and forestry, and letters of opposition from 509, 517, 513, 515, and 517 St. John's Road. And we do have a letter from the agent requesting deferral. So is the agent on the line?
Mr. Chair, if I may, just in case you don't have it in your package, we do have a late registrant who's registered to speak to the item, but I don't know if they're in favor or in opposition to the applicant.
Thank you.
Daniel, you've been unmuted. You can go ahead.
Okay.
Afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. It's Daniel Wedrito again from Barris Design and 96 Skyway. I'm the applicant for the consent of minor variance application at 519 St. John's.
Thanks very much. Daniel, you're requesting a referral or a deferral?
Yes.
The reason of which?
Unfortunately, I came down with COVID-19 and had to quarantine, and with the restrictions, I could not post the sign in time and missed the deadline by 1 day. So we understand that the file must be deferred to give the public proper notice, and we have no objections with that, provided it can be rescheduled the next earliest date.
Okay, thanks very much. We do have someone registered online, so I would like to bring that person in and ask them whether they're okay with a deferral.
Will Copland, you've been unmuted. You can go ahead.
Mr. Copland?
Yes, hi everybody. Having watched you for a little bit, I have a much greater appreciation for the job you're doing. I am okay with the deferral. Thank you.
Just for the record, your address?
55 Brookside Avenue.
Great. Thanks very much. Okay, we go to panel. There's a request for deferral. Can I get a motion? Yim?
Yes, I will move for deferral, but I'd just like to mention also, if the signs is not posted on time, it's a technical, it's automatic deferral. Anyway, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Do we have a seconder? Okay. All in favor? Peter's a seconder. All in favor? Okay, you have your deferral, sir. Item 41, 1475 Danforth Avenue. The committee has a copy of the previous minutes. This item was previously deferred. We have a copy of plan survey, revised site plan, floor plans and elevations, covering letter from the agent, correspondence from 1440 Unit 2 Danforth Avenue, and an email from planning suggesting a condition. So, is the agent on the line?
Yes,
Saba,
this
you've been
is
unmuted.
Saba Christmas from QBS Architects, 1670 Bayview Avenue, Suite 401.
Great, thanks very much. Hold on a sec. Panel, would you like a presentation on this item? Seeing some shaking heads, I think we're okay. The panel has read the material and familiar with the application. Is there anything you'd like to emphasize or share with the panel before we take it for a decision?
No, we worked closely with planning and revising our application, and we agree with one last minute condition they just added, which is adding the planters on the roof. So we are good to go.
Great. Thanks very much. We'll go into committee. Panel members, comments or a motion? Peter?
I remember this from last time it came up, and I was impressed with it then, and I remain impressed with it. I think it's a really good Main Street building. It shows sensitivity for its context and makes good use of an urban site. So, subject to the planning condition, I move it with the conditions.
Great, thank you. Carl, you seconding?
I am, and I agree with Peter's comments.
Great, thank you. So we have a motion to approve with condition. All those in favor? You have your approval, sir. Ma'am, pardon me. Our last item of the day, number 42, is 300 Westlake Avenue. This item was also previously deferred. We have a copy of the minutes from that meeting, survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, and similarly an email from planning dated January 7th with a condition tied to variance number 3. So is the agent on the line?
Calvin, you've been unmuted. You can go ahead.
Cal Bruner. Well, it's Cal Bruner, 300 Westlake Avenue.
Great. Thanks, Calvin. Just hang on a sec. Panel, do we need a presentation on this one? I think we're okay. Mr. Bruner, before we take it into committee, is there anything you'd like to emphasize or add to?
Just that all my neighbors have continually thought it's great, it's beautiful, and my tenant just sent me an email 2 weeks ago saying the same thing. They all think my neighbors like what's there, so I'll leave it at that. Not just my neighbors next door, but other neighbors who walk down the street and see it. They like it. It's very beautiful, ornamental, and they like it. That's all I can
Okay.
say.
Thank you. Okay, panel. Do we have any comments, or can I get a motion?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the planning condition, I had spoken with the senior planner and community planning with regards to it, in as much as it speaks to an encroachment agreement, which is not really the purview of Committee of Adjustment. So they have rescinded that condition.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you. So there is no required condition from planning for this one. So, comments or a motion? Peter?
Thanks. Well, just in relation to that, I mean, that one planning condition gave me comfort around this because it's built in the public right of way, right? And I don't know how we can approve something that's built in the public right of way. I don't think it's a problem visually or as it presents itself on the street, but still, it's a private item that's built in the public right of way. I don't know if staff or other members have an idea.
Carl?
I have exactly the same concern. When I went through the agenda at home initially, my first question was, does the applicant have the right to work on the public right of way? And it wasn't until the condition from planning showed up that I had an answer that, as Peter said, gave me some level of comfort. I'm uncomfortable approving and I have no trouble with the application, but I'm uncomfortable approving it without that condition.
Okay. Sylvia, so it was withdrawn because we aren't able to issue that kind of a condition?
So when you read the condition, planning is asking for a condition in an encroachment agreement. And committee doesn't deal with encroachment agreements. It's in the purview of transportation services. We have nothing to do with a encroachment agreement. Variances relate to private property, not really the city boulevard per se. The variance speaks to a 0 setback for the stairs.
Okay, thank you.
So Sylvia, is that encroachment agreement permitting the owner of 300 Westlake to encroach into the public laneway?
There is no encroachment agreement right now, as far as I understand.
So they're suggesting one. That's a condition to enter into a encroachment agreement?
I think what it is they suggest that they have to enter an agreement. They might fail, but they may get it. And I think that's why it's not our concern whether we cannot do that and put in condition.
Yeah, so like we
Yeah,
said,
is it possible?
like we said before, you cannot approve a variance on somebody else's property not owned by the applicant. So why don't we defer this and allow the owner to try and get an encroachment agreement? If he doesn't get it, we refuse it. If he gets it, we can deal with it.
Let's just hold that thought. With your indulgence, I wouldn't mind going back to the agent and just asking Mr. Brunner what his understanding of this situation is.
Yeah, my understanding was I had to apply for a encroachment agreement. I've sent the application in. I have no problem with getting an encroachment agreement. I'm actually thought this was gonna be subject to the encroachment agreement, so I'm a little surprised that this has been a change here. I have no reason not to get one, actually. So I'm trying to avoid going back to committee again, but if we have to, I guess we have to do it again, but that's the plan. This caught me off guard as well.
Mr. Chairman, I was going to recommend exactly what the applicant just said. Is it possible that we could make, I don't think any of us have any trouble with this application, providing the applicant has the right to use the public right of way. Is it possible that we could make our decision conditional upon an encroachment agreement? We're not saying what it should be, but that there be an encroachment agreement.
Yeah,
Because to Don's point, otherwise we're dealing with somebody else's land.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, we could defer it, but I think this has already been deferred, and it just seems like it's an unnecessary delay to a project that I think generally we all think is supportable. So I'm comfortable with a condition requiring the applicant to successfully enter into an agreement with, I guess, the city for the encroachment. So I think we can put conditions on as a panel as we see fit. So if you guys are all agreeing to that, then I'd love a motion to that effect.
Through you, Chair, again, just looking at the earlier zoning notice, a comment from the zoning examiner. In terms of notes that they have on the zoning review, they're saying that the spiral staircase encroaching into the city boulevard requires an encroachment agreement prior to the issuance of a building permit. So it's kind of already tied in through the building permit process.
Thank you. Having said that, to the applicant, is this staircase already built?
Yes, it is. I did not realize the building permit requirement at that time, and I thought it was separate from the building, and I didn't frankly screwed up, didn't know the rules, so.
Yeah. So understand that. You know, this is if you look at the site, it's a small spiral staircase. I don't think it's offensive to anyone, quite frankly. I don't think anyone would have any concerns with this. Frankly, I'm comfortable with proceeding subject to you know, the successful completion of an agreement with the city. So I appreciate staff's perspective on this one. But if you guys agree, maybe someone could move a motion. Peter?
Sure, I agree, Larry. I think I'd rather have it on the record that we don't endorse building on other people's land. So I move to approve the project, the application, subject to the applicant entering into an encroachment agreement with the city.
Okay, we have a seconder. Carl? All those in favor? Yim, are you opposed? You're in favor, okay. All right, the application is approved, subject to that condition. And that,
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. That, folks, brings to a conclusion today's events. Thank you all. for your patience, particularly with me.
Well, thank you for taking over, Larry.
Yes, Don, and please, it looked like you were struggling there a little bit. I hope you're feeling better.
I was struggling,
Yes, indeed. Just keep.
particularly during that Morningside charade.
That's funny, hadn't noticed.
Way to go, Larry. Good job.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yes, excellent job, Larry.
Thanks, guys. Okay, we'll see you.
Thanks, staff. See you later.
See you in a couple weeks, I guess, some of you.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Cheers. I forgot to do that. What time?